Good afternoon, Pokésports. It's your host, Mike, and I play with one Pokemon on the field. Unless the Pokemon Company decides to put that 20-minute timer back in, then I might be playing some VGC. This video is for the diehard Pokemon fans, the people who will be lining up outside their local GameStop or Walmart or whatever for midnight releases or early morning releases of Pokemon Scarlet or Violet, the people who will be downloading this game off of the eShop, who, you know, don't necessarily want to buy both games. It's a large commitment to go and play these games, right? It's a good 60 hours worth of gameplay at least to go and get to the end game, and then however many hours after that. Personally, me and Kevin, we've got like over 999 on either version. But this video is for you, the people who want to be playing the game but do not necessarily want to buy both of them. In every generation, there are very subtle differences between one game and the other game. Scarlet has different Pokemon, Violet has different Pokemon. There's a different aesthetic to both of them. And I wanted to kind of explain what we know so far, explain the differences that are out there right now, and just some of the things that we know historically from other generation version differences. And I'll say this right now, this video won't be going over any of the leaks that have been flying around. There's a lot of information out there right now. There's a lot of false information. There's a lot of good information. We really won't know left from right until the actual game has been downloaded and the day one patch has been given and all of that good stuff. So this video will only be talking about the things that have been officially released, starting with version exclusives. And you know what? The Pokemon Company, they keep a lot of these Pokemon really close to their chest, all right? They don't really want to tell you about which Pokemon will be in which game. They've told you the bare minimum of which will be in which, and that's so that you will go and buy the double pack. You'll go and buy both of them, or you'll go and trade the Pokemon between your friends who have the different versions. This game is all about collaboration. It's all about teamwork and all of that good stuff. And the multiplayer aspect in this game is just one more nail in that coffin, saying like, you know what, go and play with your friends, go and have fun. But the information that they have told us, very minimal. We have 6 Pokemon from each game that we know will be in each game, right? So in Pokemon Scarlet, we have the Tyranitar line. We have Larvitar, Pupitar, Tyranitar. And in Pokemon Violet, we have Salamence, Bagon, and Shelgon, not necessarily in that order. Between just those, honestly, I feel like I would say that if you are going to be playing singles, maybe you want to get Pokemon Violet. If you're going to be playing doubles, maybe you want to pick up Pokemon Scarlet, because in Scarlet you have the Tyranitar, which is really good in doubles format, or it's pretty good in a singles format too. Anyway, that one's down to preference. But Pokemon Violet so far has been rather uninspired for VGC players, I find. Just with the Salamence and the other Pokemon that I'm going to list in a second. You've also got Ice-Q in Pokemon Violet, and you've got Stonjourner in Pokemon Scarlet. And those have kind of always been really fun to see and really fun to use, but kind of throwaway in most competitive formats. You can make it work. It's just not up there, you know what I mean? Then you've got Armarouge and Ceruledge, the Mega Man X and the Mega Man Zero of this generation. Honestly, the differences between them are pretty vast, right? Armarouge is a fire and psychic type, Ceruledge is a fire and ghost type. Armarouge has its signature move of, what's that called? Armor Cannon, which is a fire type special move that lowers your defense and special defense on use. It's kind of like a special fire close combat. Ceruledge has Bitter Blade, which heals for half of the damage that's done, which is, also pretty good. It kind of depends on what you think that your team is going to look like, what kind of Pokemon you think you're going to be putting on your team. And it also kind of really depends on if their stats are decent enough, if their abilities are decent enough, right now, Armarouge has the ability Flash Fire, and so does Ceruledge, but we don't know what their hidden abilities are going to be yet. So depending on what that is, maybe that's a Pokemon you want to put on your team. If you want to roll the dice like that and see if it's actually going to be decent, then you maybe want to go and choose a thing because of that. And then there's Koraidon and Miraidon, the 2 box legendaries of this generation. For those ones, we don't yet know what the abilities or the typing or the signature moves are going to be. So that one is really just down to aesthetic preference at this point, right? you're going to be looking at that and say, okay, do I want a old-timey Flintstones kind of vibe, or do I want a Futurama? Are we going Flintstones or Futurama? That's kind of the choice that we have going into Scarlet and Violet. And then of course we have the aesthetic differences. If you're going with Scarlet, you're going to be seeing more of an orange vibe. If you're going with Violet, you're going to be seeing more of a purple vibe. And really it just kind of depends on your personal preference. Do you want to have a game where you're running around and seeing a lot of orange? Do you want to see a game where you're running around and seeing a lot of Scarlet, and then running around seeing a lot of Violet? That's up to you. The characters are likely going to be dressed in different ways and all that. Personally, I'm going to be playing Pokemon Scarlet. Kevin, on the other hand, is going to be playing Pokemon Violet. And you know what? To actually see those differences, what we're going to be doing is on the release day, we are going to be streaming for the entire day with the both of us on screen at the same time. I personally am going to try and just keep up with Kevin as much as possible. He's going to try and keep up with me as much as possible. Just so we can see those differences in the early game. That's always what I'm super curious about and super interested about. Now, there's a lot of information that we can actually get out of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Ice-Q and Stonjourner, like in this one, were version differences in Pokemon Sword and Shield as well. There were the Indeedee differences, the Throw and Sock, the Scrafty and Toxicroak, that kind of thing. The Pokemon that kind of like complement each other but are on other sides of their respective spectrum. But there was also gym leader differences, right? In Pokemon Sword, you had Bee and Gordy, which I honestly barely know. I did not know that Gordy was a thing because I played Shield, which had Alistair and Melanie. And then in the Isle of Armor, if you were playing Sword, you fought Clara. And if you were playing Shield, then you fought Avery. And the stories were a little bit different. They were all kind of similar and they ended up in the same place, but it was a different experience for sure. So really the question that I want to pose to you folks is, which version are you going to be getting? Are you going to be getting Pokemon Scarlet? Are you going to be getting Pokemon Violet? Are you going to be getting both? Are you going to be buying the Scarlet and Violet Switch and the double pack and the Japanese double pack? Because in the Japanese double pack, you get a special Pikachu card that you can put away and keep for 20 years, and then it'll be worth $20,000, hopefully. That's not what I'm doing. Regardless, I am so confident that this game is going to be amazing. It's going to be so fun, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it, play around with it, and get really into the competitive side of it, because really everybody plays Pokemon games for different reasons. Personally, I play Pokemon for the competitive side of it. Some people play for the story, some people play for the designs, some people play for who knows what. You let me know in the comments what you play Pokemon for, because honestly, I just love to hear the differences. Folks, I want to thank you so much for watching. I've been Mike. I play with one Pokemon on the field, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.